D-Day, it's D-Day, don't forget, it's D-Day, they fucking died for you. You can't fucking forget it, they won't let you forget it. Barack Obama said today that it was a just war and we took no spoils from this war. You fucking what? You took no spoils. You own the whole world. You have an empire, a global empire. How is that not spoils? You took over the whole of Europe. How did America have no spoils from World War II? They come out of World War II as a nuclear superpower. How have you took no spoils? What? Are we stupid? Are we supposed to be fucking stupid to believe that they took no spoils from war? I just can't believe that they even try and tell you that stuff, that that's even something that they pretend to even lie about. It's like a proper insult of your intelligence to pretend that America took no spoils of war from World War II. That's the only reason they joined World War II, was to stop Russia having all the spoils and to stop Great Britain having all the spoils. If it hadn't been for America and Britain had done D-Day on their own, then we'd still have our empire. But the real fact of the matter was that America sat down and said to Britain, yeah, we'll come save you, but we want half your empire. We want Africa. We want Europe. We want fucking NATO. We want all that. How is it possible that they took no spoils? Which doesn't make sense. And it's just fucking constantly being beaten into your brain. They were the bad guys in World War II. We're the good guys. So like, we're still the good guys now. So what? If you can use that example, what? Say Germany are still the bad guys? No, we're not the good guys anymore. They're saying that we liberated Europe, but that was the biggest day in human history. Anyone who has read the slightest bit of history, my understanding of it is that by the time we'd landed on the beaches on D-Day, that Hitler had already been turned around. The Russians had already done him. The Russians had paid the biggest sacrifice of the war. You look at the fucking sieges of Stalingrad. It was the Russians that won it. By that time, Russia were begging us to land in France for months and months to take some of the pressure off of their front, and we just let them basically grind the fucking Nazi army down. And then once the Russians had pretty much destroyed them, and Hitler had sent all his forces to fight against the Russians on the Russian front, and then we took France when he wasn't looking. And it's the biggest day. We won the war that day. Come on, get fucking real. Get real. Just read a history book. And it's just this constant fucking beating you over the head with this stick. Like we're still the same, like the world is still the same place. Like we still have to be on our guard for fascism and Nazism. We should still have these armies. And we should be thanking it. If the world has changed, the world has changed. The people that died to fight fascism and Nazism in Europe, they'd be turning in their grave if they see all the liberties and the human rights that have been stripped off of us. And they're the exact same human rights and liberties that they fucking fought for, that they landed on that beach to protect. And now, the people that are imposing this fascism, the Barack Obamas and the David Camerons, the fucking fascists, the real fascists, there's Nazism in Europe. Fucking Nazism got voted into power in Europe in this election as a direct result of austerity and poor people and people wanting someone to blame. Those leaders, Obama, Cameron, Angela Merkel, they're the same people imposing this austerity, forcing people into right-wing views, and then they're saying, oh, people die to fight fascism and Nazism and to defend your human rights. Well, they'll be fucking pissed off that our human rights are just going down the drain, that they are evaporating. And we use D-Day as an example of what we should be. But this is us. We were right. We are the just people in the world. What? Because we beat Nazism 70 years ago. I mean, something you done 70 years ago doesn't fucking mean that everything that you've done after that is in the right. You can't use a war we won. I mean, I've got the greatest of respect for the people that died there. I've nothing against those people. But when you take their name and twist it and use it for your own fucking propaganda, support our troops, that's how I say, the same forces for good that took us to D-Day are the same forces of good that took us to Iraq and to Afghanistan, and it's probably going to take us to Syria and fucking Libya, and it's probably going to take us into Africa in the next decade. That's not the same force for good at all. That is greed and fucking empirical. It is just sickening that they use veterans' names like that, and then they get all these people out on the news telling us how hard it was, and there's bullets everywhere, rocket fire, you were behind enemy lines, and they're trying to use that to generate this sympathy for our troops now, who aren't fighting fascism. They're imposing fascism. They're not stopping empires, they're imposing empires. They're not protecting freedom and democracy, they're imposing right-wing fucking dictatorships around the world, including here at home. It's just a... democracy died. I don't know what point it was that the people of Europe forgot about Hitler. And people are coming out. Nigel Farage is saying we're glad that we destroyed the far right. What do you think you are, Nigel Farage? What do you think you are? You are the far right. You are the same person as the people that we were trying to defeat then. I mean, it's just a shame that they have to keep banging the same drum. And just you wait until November, where it's a 100-year anniversary of the end of the First World War. They will be banging that drum even harder. And if you're not waving a British flag, talking about how great our troops are, you're a traitor. You don't deserve to be in this country. If you're not waving the flag, saying support our troops, then you're as good as scum to these people. But don't they see that they're voting in the same right-wing ideas, the same fucking prejudices, and fucking not caring about the sick and the elderly, the foreign and the immigrants and the young and the people who can't take care of themselves? It's exactly the same ideology. Victimising these people, scapegoating these people is the exact same way that Hitler got the German working class on his side, and now they're trying to use that as an example of why we're such a great country. Nah, it's just fucking wrong. It is wrong and sick to use their name. They should be ashamed of themselves. I mean, there's fascism in Europe. There's not openly neo-Nazi parties in the European Parliament. They've won seats. There's openly fascist parties in Spain, in Greece, in France, all over Europe. We let it slide. They think it's a completely different spectrum to fascism of the 40s. It's not. It's exactly the same. I was always taught that fascism is when the military and the government and the corporations are all in bed together. That's the definition of fascism, when them three powers are all in bed together and they're looking after each other's backs. What do you think is going on now? It's fascism! It's fascism. They've got people in the government, they've hired the Bank of England, he's directly meddling in the finances of the George Osborne is telling Mark Carney what to do. For me, that's fascism, because George Osborne doesn't represent people. He represents state power, corporate power, and military power. And it's just fucking sickening. People need to wake up and see what is going on. Who holds the power in this country? Where's the power? It's in the hands of the fascists. No one wants to see it. No one wants to admit it. 70 years ago, and all it's done is just creep back in greed and fucking control over people. And they just use anything. They use any means of propaganda they want. Anything. News, TV, the radio, fucking wrestling. It is ceaseless. How many people nowadays fucking join the army to fight it? No, because it's hidden, it's subverted fascism. It's not in your face, so they don't talk about it, but when they need to use it, they will. And once they've grabbed all the power, once they've fucking shut down the unions, the trade unions, once they've taken away disabled people's rights, once they've taken away workers' rights, there'll be no rights left. There'll be nothing left. And who would there be to stand up for us? No one.